What if you could actually be completely debt-free? Like in just a few years, no matter where you're starting from right now. And maybe even more important, what if you could build real lasting wealth, from scratch, using a system that's proven and, frankly, pretty no nonsense? Today on the Deep Dive, we're getting into a financial classic that promises just that. It's Dave Ramsey's The Total Money Makeover, 7 Steps to Financial Freedom. Our mission here isn't just a book report. We want to really unpack and get to the core ideas behind Ramsey's super direct, take no prisoners approach. It's genuinely helped millions. We're using excerpts from the book itself to kind of give you the inside track on a system that's, well, it's as effective as it is straightforward.
Yeah, and what's really striking, I think, is just the sheer scale. You mentioned millions. The source says over 5 million people impacted. That's huge. But maybe even more compelling is where it came from. This wasn't just theory. It came from someone who literally lost everything, and then figured out how to rebuild. That points to a really deep practical understanding that goes way beyond just academic concepts. It feels like it was forged in fire.
Absolutely. That lived experience is key. So whether you feel like you're drowning in debt right now, or maybe you're just starting out on your financial journey, or maybe you just want a clearer roadmap, something actionable without all the confusing financial jargon. Well, this deep dive is definitely for you. We're sort of setting the stage for anyone who wants to finally grab the reins of their money, take control. Okay, so let's unpack this a bit. Before we jump straight into the famous baby steps, it's really important to get the story behind the guy, Dave Ramsey. His background isn't just, a side note, it's fundamental to his whole philosophy. He was really living the high life early on, right? Built this big real estate portfolio, over $4 million by the time he was just 26, had big house, the fancy cars, the whole deal.
He absolutely did. But, and this is the crucial part, that dream turned into a total nightmare's big mistake, building that entire empire on debt, just mountains of it. So when the economy took a downturn, specifically the banking world shifted, the banks called in his loans, and poof, he lost it all. Can you even imagine that? He's 28, files for bankruptcy, has a new baby at home, marriage is struggling. It was complete financial wipeout. Devastating, personally and emotionally. It really makes you wonder, how does someone even start to come back from that? Not just get back on their feet, but actually become wealthier than before.
Right, and this is where the story gets really interesting, I think. Instead of just, giving up, he did something different. He started studying wealthy people, like actually studying them. He wanted to figure out what they were doing that he hadn't. What was the secret sauce he missed?
Exactly that. He was looking for the patterns, the principles. And what he found was honestly kind of shocking, especially for him, coming from that world of leverage. These truly wealthy people, they didn't get rich using tons of credit or complicated investment schemes or trying to time the market. It was almost boring. Simple stuff. Living below their means, saving consistently, investing for the long haul, and this is key, avoiding debt like the plague. Seriously, like it was toxic. They built wealth slowly, methodically, intentionally, without borrowing.
That's such a powerful contrast to how most people think about getting ahead, isn't it? We're constantly told leverage is smart, credit is a tool.
It really is. And if you connect that discovery back to his own story, you see how the Total Money Makeover was born. It wasn't just theory you read in a book. He lived these principles himself to crawl out of that massive hole and then build even more wealth. The system isn't complex. It's not fancy. And maybe that's the genius of it. That simplicity is why it can work for pretty much anyone, whatever your income, however much debt you're starting with. It's about behavior.
That makes so much sense why it connects with people. Okay, so we get the man, we get the backstory, the painful lesson learned. But how does that translate into a concrete plan? Something you or I could start doing today. That's where the 7 baby steps come in. And let's be clear, these aren't just suggestions. Ramsey is adamant, they're non-negotiable. You have to do them in order, one step at a time. And you have to do it with what he calls gazelle-like intensity, which is a great image, right? Like a gazelle sprinting away from a cheetah. Total focus, total urgency, no getting sidetracked. All right, baby step 1. This one sometimes makes people scratch their heads because it sounds almost too small. Save just $1,000. That's it. A starter emergency fund. Seems tiny, maybe insignificant. But the why behind it is huge. It's about breaking that cycle of borrowing for every little thing. Think about it. Your car needs a repair, water heater goes out. Without that $1,000 cushion, what do most people do?
Fill out the credit card.
Exactly. And you dig yourself deeper. That $1,000 covers most of those little life hiccups without forcing you back into debt. And Ramsey says, get it fast. Sell stuff online, work extra shifts, have that garage sale you've been putting off. He argues most people can find $1,000 in about a month if they really buckle down.
At the psychological impact here.
Yeah.
You really can't overstate it. That first $1,000, for someone who's been living paycheck to paycheck, maybe juggling debt payments for years, it might be the first time they've actually had savings. It's a tangible win. It creates this jolt of hope, this feeling of, okay, I can do this. It proves change is possible right then and there. It builds confidence and provides the momentum needed for the tougher steps ahead. You get invested psychologically.
That first 1,000 really is a mental victory, isn't it? Proof of concept.
Well,
Okay, so you've got that small win, that bit of breathing room. What's the next major move against the debt?
Right into baby step 2, the famous debt snowball.
The debt snowball. We've probably all heard of it. List your debts, smallest balance to largest. Pay minimums on everything except the little one. Then you throw every spare cent at that smallest debt until it's gone. Then you take that money, plus the minimum you were paying, and attack the next smallest debt. It rolls up like a snowball. People get the mechanics. But talk about why Ramsey insists on this method. Because the math people always push back, right?
Oh, absolutely. You've hit the nail on the head. It's the biggest debate point. And Ramsey acknowledges it up front. He knows, mathematically, paying the highest interest rate debt first saves you more money on interest. It just does. But here's his core belief, born from his own failure and success. Personal finance is 80% behavior and only 20% knowledge. That's the crux of it. Think about it. If you're buried under debt, tackling that huge high-interest loan first might feel demoralizing. It could take ages to see progress. The snowball, though, by focusing on the smallest balance, you get quick wins. You knock out that first debt fast. Boom, victory. The next one, boom. Those wins build momentum. They keep you motivated. They prove you can beat debt. It works with human psychology, not just a spreadsheet. That's why people stick with it. And the results speak for themselves. The book mentions the average person using this gets debt-free, except the house, in like 18 to 24 months, which is incredible. But yeah, it takes that gazelle intensity.
Okay, behavior over pure math. That makes sense when you frame it that way. So let's say you've done it. You've snowballed your debts, except the mortgage. Huge accomplishment. Now you're ready for baby step 3. Building the full emergency fund. This is a much bigger pot of money. We're talking 3 to 6 months of your essential expenses. Not your income, your expenses. So if you need, say, $4,000 a month to live, you're aiming for $12,000 to $24,000 saved. Sounds like a lot, but remember, all that money you were throwing at debt is now freed up. You can funnel it straight into the savings goal. And the why is pretty clear. Life happens. You could lose your job, the transmission could go out, a medical bill could pop up. Stuff happens. This big fund is your safety net, your fortress. It protects you from ever having to rely on debt again when those major emergencies hit.
And he's super specific about where this money lives. It's not in the stock market. It's not in some fancy investment. It sits in a plain old boring savings account, or maybe a money market account. The point is, it needs to be safe, secure, and easily accessible. Liquid cash. It's not there to make you rich. It's insurance. Pure and simple. Connecting this to the bigger picture, it's about creating that unshakable financial buffer. It gives you this incredible peace of mind because you know you can handle pretty much whatever life throws at you without wrecking your progress.
Got it. Boring savings account. Insurance, not investment. Makes sense. All right, so 1K saved, debt-free, except the house. 3-6 months of expenses tucked away. Wow, you're in great shape now.
This is where the plan shifts gears, right? Into baby steps 4, 5, and 6. This is all about building serious, long-term wealth. Finally getting ahead. Baby step 4. Invest 15% of your gross household income for retirement. Not 5%, not 10%, 15% minimum. Every single month. He generally recommends good growth stock mutual funds with solid long-term track records. What's the thinking behind mutual funds specifically? Is it just diversification? It's largely about diversification, yeah, but also simplicity and consistency. He's guiding people toward a strategy they can stick with for decades. Picking individual stocks, trying to time the market, that's not the Ramsey way. It introduces complexity and risk that often trips people up. Mutual funds offer broad diversification easily, so it's a set it and forget it kind of approach, really. The main thing is hitting that 15% consistently, month after month, year after year. Compounding does the heavy lifting.
Okay, 15% into retirement, consistently. Then comes baby step 5, saving for your kids' college education. And his ordering here is interesting and sometimes controversial. You only start this after doing the 15% for retirement. Why that specific order?
His logic is pretty blunt, actually. He says your kids can borrow money for college if they absolutely have to. There are loans, scholarships, grants. But nobody, absolutely nobody is going to give you a loan for your retirement. You have to secure your own future first. It's like the oxygen mask on the airplane, put yours on before helping others. Your retirement comes first. That's a stark way to put it, but it makes sense. Okay, retirement funded, starting college savings. Then baby step 6, the big one for many, pay off the house early. This definitely sparks debate. People talk about low mortgage rates, tax deductions, investing the extra money instead.
Absolutely. This is probably the step that gets the most pushback from traditional financial advisors. Why pay off a low-interest, potentially tax-deductible mortgage early when market returns might be higher? Ramsey's answer goes back to that core philosophy. It's less about the math, more about the psychology and the freedom. Imagine owning your home, free and clear. No mortgage payment ever again. Think about the immense psychological relief, the reduction in stress, the sheer options that opens up in your life. For Ramsey, that guaranteed peace of mind, that complete elimination of debt risk, outweighs the potential for slightly higher returns elsewhere. It's about becoming completely, unequivocally debt-free. That's the ultimate security blanket. Total freedom from payments. I can see the appeal. And that sets the stage for the final step, baby step 7. Build wealth and give. At this point, you have 0 payments. No credit cards, no student loans, no car loans, no mortgage, nothing. Your income is entirely yours. Now it becomes this incredibly powerful tool to build serious wealth. Maxing out retirement accounts, investing more, maybe real estate, starting a business. The sky's the limit.
Exactly. And what Ramsey really emphasizes here is that the goal isn't just piling up money for its own sake. Financial peace, in his view, finds its ultimate expression in generosity. It's about using that wealth to make a difference, help others, leave a legacy. He finds that people who reach this stage become incredibly generous, precisely because their own financial house is so completely in order, they have the security to give freely.
So when you zoom out and look at the whole system, what's the common thread? What makes it work? It really comes back to that core belief you mentioned, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. Money management is 80% behavior, 20% knowledge. So much traditional advice focuses only on the 20%, the math, the spreadsheets. It misses the huge psychological and behavioral hurdles most people face.
Yeah, and the system seems designed to tackle that head on.
Precisely. It's built to create momentum and hope. Those quick wins early on, the $1,000, the first small debt paid off, they're crucial. They build confidence. Each step builds on the last, and it actively works to rewire how you think about money. You shift from, maybe seeing debt as just a tool or unavoidable to actively hating it. You go from maybe living paycheck to paycheck to really craving that feeling of security. It cuts through the complexity that paralyzes so many people and gives them clear, simple, actionable things to do. That provides enormous hope.
The psychological shift is just as important as the financial numbers changing. Okay. Now, we know this approach isn't without its critics. It definitely challenges some standard financial advice. Let's address some common objections someone listening might have right now. First up, I'm losing out. I could be investing this money while I'm paying off debt.
Right, the opportunity cost argument. Ramsey's response is pretty direct. Usually something like, okay, if you were so great at managing money and investing, how did you wind up buried in debt? Ouch. But his point is, for someone struggling, trying to juggle debt reduction and optimizing investments often leads to doing neither well. He argues you need to fix the foundation first. Change the behavior, eliminate the risk of debt, get stable. Then you focus on maximizing investment returns. First things first.
Okay, prioritize fixing the problem. Another big one. What about my credit score? I need a good credit score. We're told it's essential for everything.
Yeah, this is a huge mental hurdle for people. We're trained to worship the FICO score. Ramsey's take is radical here. He basically says, I don't borrow money, so I don't need a credit score. His view is, if you live debt-free, pay cash for things, maybe use a debit card, and eventually buy a house with cash, or through manual underwriting based on your income and assets, you just opt out of the credit score game. Your actual wealth, your savings, your income that becomes your proof of financial stability, not some score based on how well you manage debt. It's a completely different way of thinking.
A total paradigm shift. Okay,
Yeah.
and we have to hit this one again. The debt snowball isn't the fastest way mathematically.
Yep. And again, Ramsey says, you're right, it's not. He concedes the math, but he immediately pivots back. It's the best way behaviorally. Psychology trumps math here. The motivation from those quick wins is what keeps people on track long enough to actually become debt-free. What good is the mathematically perfect plan if you quit after 3 months because it feels impossible?
Right. The best plan is the one you actually stick with. Lastly, but I can earn more in the stock market than my low mortgage rate. Paying it off early is leaving money on the table.
The classic mortgage argument. Ramsey's counter is simple. Can you guarantee you'll earn more? The market might return more. Historically, it often has. But it's not guaranteed. There's risk. Paying off your mortgage, that's a guaranteed return equal to your interest rate, risk-free. Plus, you get the immense psychological benefit of owning your home outright. He prefers the guaranteed win and the peace of mind over chasing potential but uncertain higher returns. At the end of the day, all these objections often involve overanalyzing. Ramsey's strength is cutting through that complexity. Stop trying to game the system, stop optimizing every last penny, and just do the steps. Follow the plan.
It really boils down to that, doesn't it? So the Total Money Makeover, it's clearly way more than just a budget or an investment strategy. It feels like a blueprint for a different kind of life. It's about taking control so money doesn't control you. And the evidence shows millions have used it to go from feeling hopeless about money to actually building real wealth. The system clearly works, but, and this is the big but, it only works if you work the system. With that, what was it?
Gazelle intensity.
Gazelle intensity, love it. So here's the challenge to you listening right now. Pick one baby step, just one, and start today. If you don't have $1,000 saved, that's your focus. Step one, get laser focused on finding that $1,000. If you have debt, your homework is to list every single debt you have, smallest balance to largest, right now. Tonight, that's the start of step two. If you're already debt-free except the house and you've got the starter emergency fund, calculate your 3 to 6 month number for baby step 3. Know your target. Seriously, the time for just thinking about it or making excuses is over. Your total money makeover can literally start the moment this deep dive ends.
That's a great call to action. And it leaves us with a really powerful question for you to think about. Imagine, truly imagine, being completely debt-free. No car payment, no credit card bills, no student loans, not even a mortgage payment, nothing. What would that total freedom allow you to do? What dreams could you pursue? What acts of generosity would suddenly feel possible? Consider the profound ripple effect that kind of freedom would have, not just on your bank account, but on your stress levels, your relationships, your entire life.